Hello, welcome back to today's Today podcast with me, Jack, and Danny. Danny, how are we?
Not too bad, sir. Not too bad at all. What is the crack with Jack?
I am all good in the hood, but I don't know if you're aware, but this is 12 months after today, 3 months in the podcast.
3 months in the podcast, lad. 12 episodes.
Yep, 12,
There you go.
12 episodes, mate.
Have you found it so far then, lad?
Good to be honest. I don't know what yourself. Well personally, it's always the feeling of like starting. It's always like it's gonna be a bit out of my comfort zone, but I enjoyed it. Like what yourself?
Yeah, I've been proper enjoying it. I think as of recently we are kind of definitely going in the right direction of finding what say our style is or what our niche is. Do you know what I mean? So I am enjoying that, and I think we're a lot better than we were on episode 1. So
100%.
But yeah, let's get straight into it. Basically, today what we're going to be talking about in the podcast is we'll be completely transparent and honest with you. We have three general topics we're going to discuss that me and Jack were kind of talking about off camera. So other than that, we don't have many notes written down. We're not going to be breaking down like say a video or whatnot. But the first point is something I've been kind of thinking about recently in this week and things. Jack, it's about feeling lost in your 20s. Tell me your experience with this.
Um, Feeling lost in my 20s. My experience with it would be, I wouldn't say lost. It'd be more like knowing if you're doing the right thing. So I suppose it could be lost, yeah. Knowing that you're gonna do the right thing. So like in the sense, am I going down the right path? Is fitness the right path I should be going down? Is it, or should I be doing something with finance? Should I do sales? Should I do this? Should I do that? There's so many options. It's hard to know whether you're going in the right direction. If you get me in that sense. What about your experience with this? Do you feel the same?
Yeah, 100%. And I think a lot of people um, our age do experience this. I was kind of watching some videos on it the other day talking about it, and I think it's a completely normal thing to face. Like just this week, I was like kind of shitting myself. Do you know what I mean? I was talking about that. Basically, was talking about what am I doing next year after I'm done uni? And I was just sitting there like, see, to be honest, like what the fuck actually am I doing? Do you know what I mean? Like I think it's just like it's weird because as you talked about like about the industry and the right industry, like I think the reason this is what I would compare it to, right? I would compare it to like, do you ever get when you walk into a shop and you go to the drinks aisle and there's about a million different drinks to pick from? You're like, oh, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell do I get? What the hell do I get? Do I get Lucozade? Do I get Ribena? Whatever it may be. That's what I kind of feel it's like. Do you know what I mean? Like there's so much shit to choose from. You get overwhelmed in a sense.
You know what's mad? You know what's mad about that, right? Is that you see me going out in the Tesco on a Saturday night trying to pick my fucking desserts. Which one I'm eating? I'm eating the fucking Ben and Jerry's today, or am I going for you know, am I going for the cookies, or I'm going for both? Yeah, 100%. That's
Jack,
actually a great demonstration. So it is.
this is kind of a side note. Don't even get me started on your indecisiveness. I've got a story to tell about this, Jack. About your indecisiveness, lad.
Before you tell me the story, Rob, I am either really decisive or really indecisive. So there's no in between. There's no like, I'm either like 100% already know me, 100% doing it, 100% knowing, or I'm like, oh, I don't know, I have a clue, knowing. So it's no like one day you're with me and I'm 100% know what I'm doing, and the next time I'm like, oh, I don't know, and that's not a good position to be in for me personally. Like,
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with you on things like what you're going to be doing. But when it comes to picking clothes, lad, you're the most indecisive person I've ever met. Should I just tell the story, Jack, to give people a bit of context of what I'm referring to?
tell me a story,
It's
Danny.
it's not a bad story. Don't worry, I won't expose you. So basically, this is just a life tip for anyone who's mates with Jack. Never go close shop with this boy, Jack Ray. Jesus Christ, that what age we must have been like say 15 or 16. Anyway, we'll go in the town, go to JD. Jack picks a jumper. Oh, for about 20 minutes, half an hour, this boy's like, should I get this jumper? Should I not get this jumper? And I was like, lad, just get the jumper. No, I mean, it doesn't really matter that much. The boy buys the jumper. walk to the other JD. He's like, I actually don't want this jumper. Brings that jumper back to the JD to go back to the other JD to get the jumper. Then was like, no, I actually do want that jumper. Then goes back to get the jumper again, lad.
What can I say? I guarantee there's people watching this podcast right now who can relate that like 100%.
Look back on it as funny, but let's see at the time, Jesus.
What can you do? Like, what can you do?
Nah, but we're all indecisive. But back to the point, feeling lost in your 20s, Jack. Do you ever feel like so you kind of get a sense of say anxiety around asking yourself, are you on the right path or are you not?
I wouldn't say it's well maybe it would be anxiety, but I would be a bit skeptical in the sense that like you were saying there about walking in the shop and seeing loads of drinks. It's the same with like I don't know, for example, leaving tech for me, for example, what is it I'm actually gonna pursue? I'm gonna go to uni or am I gonna do another course or am I gonna you know uh go my own way and start doing my own thing kind of thing? Or I'm going to get a job. You must feel the same coming out of uni. Like you're now getting to that point now where you're on your last year, pretty sure. Now you're actually going to be entering the world of work and like, what direction, what path is it you think you're going to go on? It's hard to actually know. And I feel like so many people watching this podcast can relate to that in the sense that like, what is the right direction? But is there a right direction? That's the thing. Is there a right direction? That'd be the big question. Like, is there actually a right direction?
Do you think like we and people in the audience and people who experience these feelings that it's kind of a fear about the unknown?
100%. Like everyone in the world likes to know exactly what the crack is, if you get me, in the sense that they want to know, right, this is 100% what I'm doing, or they want to be certain that they're getting this money coming in, and they want to be certain that they have clothes and a roof over their head, kind of thing. But when we don't have stuff that we don't know that is certain, we're a bit skeptical in the sense that, oh, this is actually getting serious. If it doesn't end up working out or whatever it is you decide to pursue, then you're fucked, basically.
Yeah, yeah. Why? What? I personally get that as well. Completely. Like you're like it is the fear of like say the unknown or the fear of failure. Like you don't actually know what it is that you want to do and what that's going to relate. Like as I was talking about my example about leaving uni, and you talked about leaving tech as well. Like I think um it seemed like the reason we get this anxiety is because like when we look at social media or we look at online, we see people or look at other people. People seem to have it all worked out, and you're kind of comparing yourself to their situation, and you feel like, oh, I've got absolutely nothing worked out here. They're so much far ahead of me. Am I going to get to that level?
100%. And you know what I think's a bit mad about what you just said? People look at me because I'm uploading on social media every day and like, communicating what I'm getting up to. They automatically assume, oh, he's doing that every day. He's obviously, making this and making that. I'm a by fuck. Like, see them at my mates have texted me like, oh, Jack's spending drinks today, or no, or like, oh, you're minted and all this here. I'm like, man, I'm just trying to do my own thing. That does not mean I'm making money. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, they just automatically assume just because I don't know, I upload a video that's maybe good or high quality, or like maybe something they wouldn't perceive as they could do kind of thing. Maybe um they automatically think, oh, he's obviously making this, he's making that, and it's the same with not just myself. Compare yourself to anyone. I'm sure you've done this. I'm sure everyone in the world has compared themselves to someone before and think, oh, look what he's doing. He's obviously making all sorts. And I'm my own critic because I've looked at people and thought the exact same thing. Um, but it's never actually what it seems. Like maybe they are making what you think, but like 99% of the time, it's not ever as you know never as big as what they think in the sense of money wise, like that kind of thing.
yeah. Why do you think we compare ourselves to other people, then discount our skills and our potential so heavily?
Um, I feel like because social media lays down like it's like a platform that everyone compares themselves to in the sense that like the they see someone way ahead of them who's already been doing it for 20 years and they think, oh, they're already got there. So, like, what makes me think I can get there? But it's because they've actually already put in the work that we haven't seen. we haven't seen them, 5 million posts they've done, blah blah. We've only seen that one post, and they're thinking, oh, he's meant to look what he's talking about, look what he's doing, but we haven't seen his, him or hers, whoever it is, their pathway and how they've achieved and to get that stage. So, yeah, we just automatically think, oh, well then we can't do that because they've already done it. They got lucky. We automatically think they got lucky. That's the main thing
Yeah,
we take away from this. We automatically think, oh, they've got lucky, but the reality is 99% of the time it hasn't. They've just put in the work that we haven't seen. So that's the way I look at
yeah.
it.
100%. I think a lot of people do discount it down to the fact that people be like, they get lucky, but they haven't seen the 10,000 reps in the gym. Like, oh, they have good genetics. That's where the reason why they're in so much shape, but they haven't seen them as going to the gym 5 days a week at six o'clock in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like everything you see on social media and all like say whether it be certain body aesthetics or certain income levels or material goods that people tend to post on social media. Social media is a highlight reel. You know what I mean? Like you don't post a bad. Like 99.999% of creators and people who you follow on social media do not post the bad bits on social media. We're the exact same. Like I'm not going to post myself sleeping in, or I'm not going to post myself that I don't know, just sitting in the gym, training in the gym, or whatever it may be, or sitting on my laptop all night trying to get work done. No, I mean, because that's there's nothing interesting about it, but it's what's necessary in order to get to that level that you're seeing these creators and these influencers at, where they're only posting the good bits that they're away when they're off on holiday, with their six pack abs and you know what I mean. So like you got to take everything on social media with a pinch of salt and actually acknowledge the fact that like they didn't just get there because of luck.
100%. And if I had to relate that scenario to myself, I feel like a lot of people will look at me on a Sunday, for example, me walking into Tesco and buying all the shit of the day, and they automatically think, oh, he's a PT and he's eating all that. There's no way, he definitely doesn't train, or he definitely doesn't, look after himself and he could do a PT, he's going to do this. But if they see what I done Monday to Saturday, them 10, 11, 12 times I've trained that week, on top of the eating healthy till the Sunday, then, what I mean? It's the work they don't see. They automatically would judge. If they only see me on a Sunday, they automatically judge he's a lazy, all he does is eat shit, blah blah. But if they actually seen the work I done beforehand, Monday to Saturday, hence they'd be like, oh my god, no wonder why he's able to, do that kind of thing.
Yeah. Why do you feel like we love putting people's success say down to luck?
Because we feel like we don't have the potential to do it. Not in my case, but I feel like maybe I used to. I used to feel like I didn't have the potential to, get to where I want to be. But through a lot of, discipline and a lot of, learning experience, I've learned that that's never the case. It's actually not true. That was just a belief I used to have. But the more I've got older, the more I've come to realize that, I can be anyone I want to be. It's just going to take a longer time rise than what I thought it would have originally taken. So that's what I feel like. I feel like people just think they can't do it. They don't see their potential. But in my opinion, everyone has potential, but they just don't see it.
Do you think it's down to laziness so that we don't have to actually put in the work? So we rule ourselves out before even having to put in the work because we can't be bothered putting in the work?
I don't feel like it's so we couldn't be bothered. I feel like it's more of a case of like there's no point. There's no point because they don't feel that they can do it. So what's the point even trying to do it in the first place? I think that's the mentality of people our age roughly, or like most people anyway. The mentality
Yeah.
is they don't feel that they can do it. And why is that? Why do they feel like they can't do it? Because obviously all they're seeing is the highlights on Instagram, and all they're seeing is like that kind of stuff. And when
Is
they're
it
go out,
is it like kind of making a mountain out of a molehill and like the first task of actually heading in the right direction to achieve that
yeah, well,
goal?
yeah, 100%. 100%. I think, yeah, you nailed it on the head, like 100%. I feel like they just look at the challenge and don't think they're able to do it, even though they can do the challenge. If you get me, like they are
Yeah.
have the potential, but they don't feel like they can do it. And why is that? Maybe because of past experiences. Maybe they might have give up too easily, or maybe you know they've seen someone else try and do it and it didn't work for them, so they automatically think just because it didn't work for him, it's not going to work for me. Maybe that's
Yeah,
the case, but yeah. What's your thoughts on that? Do you feel like people nowadays they don't feel like they have a potential or ability to reach the goals they're trying to strive for, or like what's your opinion on that?
I don't know if they don't. Obviously, yeah, they may think they don't have the potential, the ability to achieve something like that. But as I said, as I talked about, I think, and I'm guilty of it as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like people justify to themselves why they can't do it through saying that person got lucky or that person achieved this because of X or because of Y. Do you know what I mean? I think it's them lying to themselves. I'm guilty of it as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So they don't have to go through the discomfort of change. And you know what I mean? Just to like relate, say an example of this podcast. Before I start this, like this is what my exact thoughts were, but I'll just kind of think of a quick example. Um, when we look at like when we think of podcasts, we think the most successful podcast there is. You know what I mean? Like say the Diary of a CEO, the Joe Rogan podcast, and we're like, oh, they're bringing on, say, I don't know, um, big actors and famous people, and that's the reason their podcast got so successful. But if you go to their first episode and say there was 2 3 people watching, like Joe Rogan talks about this, um, he just chipped away and chipped away and chipped away and chipped away until he got to this level, and that's like, you know what I mean. That I think I've become aware of. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't jump straight to the highlight reel. Like you got to put the groundwork first and the foundations in order for the house to stand tall. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's saying all great things take time, but and saying that there about the having to start somewhere, I feel like that's the biggest thing to take away from it. Like people just get lost on how to start. Maybe that's what it is, but when they realize it's starting out is the hardest bit, but it's also the easiest bit because it's it's your first time doing it. So you've a lot of the first someone podcast, you've lots of talk about, but you just feel in your head that you can't start it because you don't know how to. But how you meant to know how to start if you haven't even tried to start? You're just thinking in your head automatically thinking I can't do it. Maybe it's shift the mindset of like right, I've never done before, but I can at least try. There's no point saying, oh, I don't know how to start, but when you haven't even tried to start, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. Do you know what I mean? It's like going back to the whole subject of momentum. You know what I mean? Like you're never gonna get there if you don't start.
100%. So if you look at just this podcast alone, like obviously we haven't brought on much people on the thing, but we're only 12 episodes in. Like we're only 3 months in. You think about it, you do this what or 20 times, you do it 5 years, and things will start to thing. Like we've had a win yes only just yesterday about maybe like 700 views or so and 72 likes. That was the most we've ever got in 3 months. But that's only 3 months. Like as we have talked about momentum, all great things take time. It's not gonna just happen overnight. So yeah, but going back to the loss situation, right? Why do you personally feel that people get lost in their 20s? Is it down to like a certain reason, or do you just feel like it's just a common thing that everyone has?
I don't think that everyone has it. I do think a majority of people have it. I think um, we overanalyze and overcomplicate, as we just spoke about, because we have a fear of failing, such a big fear of failure. Do you know what I mean?
100%. That's why people don't even start in the first place because they're so scared of failure, and maybe that could be why that people haven't started their own business or started their own like whatever it is because they're scared in case they fail. Personally, from my experience, I am I'm 100% scared of failing. Who's not scared of failing? But like in my opinion, like if you do fail, the only way to learn is by failing. So like that's why I
Yeah,
look at it. Like I know for a fact if this were, which I don't think it will, but I say if anything in life doesn't matter what it is, if I were to fail at anything it was, I would know that yes, I may feel like people are judging me because I failed, but the only way I'm going to learn is by actually failing, and I think you're on the same boat with that.
yeah. Why would you say you have such a large fear of failure?
Because I hate, first of all, I hate losing. I hate like losing at anything. I always want to win. I just have that mentality. But I would say I don't want to let myself down because I feel like I've just put such big acts. I've got such big what's the word, and standards for myself. I have just such big standards for myself that if I fail, I almost like, oh, the only person I have to blame is myself, kind of thing. In my opinion, so I've just high standards on myself, and I feel like if I fail, then it's down to me, and it's my fault for not putting in the work, kind of thing. I also don't want to let my family down, or mostly myself. To be honest, family yes, but mostly myself because I've I feel like I've took a bit of a risk, to be honest. Like going my own way. Like I don't feel like there's those people I know personally that is quit their job and just went all in and just I don't know a lot of people that in that same boat as me, if you know what I mean. So I feel it's a bit of a risk, but I mean, risk to reward, as we talk about a lot. And if it doesn't work out, what's the worst that can happen? I can learn from it. So, yeah, that's what, yeah, that's my views on it.
Do you saying about that? Do you learn from it? Do you believe that if if you fail and you fail over and over and over again, that you eventually will succeed?
You were talking about in the last podcast about falling forward. You know, like the more times I failed, obviously I personally feel like when I look back at like anything I've done from like uh running long distances or football, anytime I've had a bad match or a bad thing, I've kept going, kept on the next match, and I've got better and better. It's a repetition game kind of thing. So yeah, I 100% feel like the more times I fail, the better I'll get, or I'll know I'll be able to have an indicator on why did it fail, and then I'll be able to improve that, and then if I fail again, improve that until I find ways where there's no there's no chance there'd be very slim chance of failing because you've failed that much times in that field, whatever field it is. But or maybe it could be a sign where like, right, I've failed this much times and maybe at the point where like, oh, maybe that's trying to tell me that maybe this isn't the path for me, maybe it's something else I need to go down. So it's a hard one to comprehend, but yeah, that's the way I'd be looking at it.
Why? See, every time you fail, do you feel like you learn from it?
uh Yes and no. Like in the past, for example, I wouldn't feel like I've learned from it, but in the future, like I don't know, a year, maybe in a month, maybe 2 or 3 years, you look back and you think, oh, I'm actually so glad I went through that because now I learned. I've been in that scenario before. This is what I need to not do. So like without realizing it, you've learned, but like not initially. Sometimes, well, sometimes yes, but sometimes not initially. You actually learn. I think I don't know about you. Have you ever been in a scenario where you know you failed and you've never actually thought you learned anything from it, and you didn't assess it or nothing? You didn't like realize anything until years later. You're like, oh, that's why I'm not doing this now because of what happened. Have you ever had a scenario where you failed and you didn't realize you learned from it, but you did? If you get me.
Um, not to pop straight to my head, but I have definitely had situations where I say I've failed or something hasn't performed as I thought it was going to perform. Then I've taken that and learned from it and implemented a new technique or new strategy around that subject in order to say have more chance of succeeding. Just like trial and error.
See, just a bit off. So, well, it's a bit on subject. See where you're now currently on your last year of uni. Do you feel like you're on that path of being lost in your 20s in the sense like you feel you have a direction, but you don't know what that direction is?
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
And what are you thinking now? What's your thoughts on that in the sense that, have you got, I know feel like you're lost. Is there like a certain avenue you're hitting to do more than the other? Or is there like a case of like, right, these are the options. I'm not sure which one I'm going to pick. Can I?
Um, I think the way I have kind of boiled it down, I kind of see it that there's two options. Do you know what I mean? I could just kind of settle for a job. You know what I mean? And go that path, or actually, what the path that I intend to go down is actually build something for myself, build a brand, and actually work my bollocks off and build something worthwhile, and achieve a level of success that I otherwise couldn't if I just got comfortable and went and worked a job. Do you know what I mean? And a basic 9 to 5 job that maybe I may not enjoy. Not That's not dissing people who work 9 to 5 jobs, or things along them lines. I just don't feel like it's something that would make me feel fulfilled. I think it's I want to go down a path where I build something and reach a level of success. So in order that I feel fulfilled,
Do you
but
feel like a part time job then maybe, and then on top of it doing your own thing, or just going all
potentially,
in?
potentially, yeah. Obviously because I'll need like an income. But the thing is that kind of that confuses me is like I think a lot of people get this because they know what they need to do, but sometimes we our the human brain tends to choose comfort over hardship, and that's kind of what the situation is. Because I'm just confused because I want to achieve a level of success, but I don't know how it is that like there's no clear cut path for me to follow A B C D E F and so on to achieve the level of success that I intend for myself.
I can relate that 100% to be honest. Like looking back, it was a bit stupid for me to well, maybe a bit stupid for me to go and do what I'm doing at the minute. And looking back, maybe I should have actually gotten a part time job and then done this on the side because my funds obviously isn't as high as I'd like them to be. But I mean, that's the I've never been in this scenario before, so hoping
Yeah,
it pays off. And if it doesn't, I can always get a part time job again, obviously, and then do this on the side, obviously. But it was a bit of a risky move I done, so I can 100% relate to how you're feeling and what you feel like you need to do and stuff. So I 100% relate to what you just said there.
yeah. I think the furthers it is as like we know what we need to do, like we need to grind and work on something, but we also want to live like an enjoyable life that we're not just I think the sacrifice piece is also a massive piece. You know what I mean? Like I think if you want to achieve this desirable life, this life that everyone wants to live, that you do need to make massive sacrifice to achieve it.
Yeah, it's a risk to reward in it. I feel like I probably could have maybe should have saved a little bit of more backlog in cash before I actually went and done this path. Maybe you know maybe that's something I come to terms with now. But in saying that, next month I could be head and shoulders where I am now. So you just generally never know. It's a roll of a dice.
Yeah.
Risk reward 100%, but
Why
sometimes it can be a roll of dice.
you kind of talking about like say the funds that you have dwindling? Would you say that there's kind of a presence of desperation in order to be successful because of that?
Yes, in the sense I'm running away from something. I'm running away from not having no money and having to ask my mum and daddy for more money and stuff like that. I don't know about you, but I hate asking mum and daddy for money. But when you are struggling, your mum and daddy's always going to be there for you. But you just feel so bad because I'm at a stage in my life, at 21 years of age, I want to be in a situation and in a scenario where I don't have to ask for money at all from my mum and daddy. I feel like I want to be in a situation where I'm actually starting to give back now. I'm only like I want to slowly start to be giving back now instead of still asking at 21. So I want to be at a stage where I'm only slowly giving back instead of being the opposite, slowly asking, which is just, I feel like everyone who's watching this can relate. They all want to be in a position. Everyone watching this video right now wants to be in a position where they're starting to slowly give back to their mummy and daddy and what they've given to you. But it's just that barrier that I'm in currently. I feel like I feel bad for asking mummy and daddy for money. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. I just don't want to be that kind of guy. I want to be the guy that gives back after what all they've given to me. So just feel really bad. Do you feel bad asking your parents for money at all?
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? I hate lending money off people. You know what I mean? It is a melting situation to be in, but I think right like recently I haven't really been, to be fair. Just I've dough saved up in it. Um, but yeah, why? See, would you say you're on the right path now?
I would say I'm in a better place. I think it's in the sense that I have more direction than what I did have when I was working in the warehouse. As in the sense that I feel more, probably more motivated and driven and like enjoyment of what I'm doing now because I've went and done my own thing, and I feel like again, I feel like most people will be too scared to do what I've just personally done. I personally feel like most people watching this video, or like maybe, you know, who know me as a person, don't feel like I would have done that, and like don't feel like they have the ability to do. So I feel like I've took a leap. If you know what I mean, do I feel like I'm on the right path? I feel like I'm on in the right direction, right path. That's hard to know, to be honest.
Yeah.
But definitely right direction. I'm more fulfilled than what I was working in the warehouse. Put it that way, that way.
Hmm.
So, when you look at it in that sense, I'm happier than what I was, and I'm glad. I am glad that I've took that jump, but a lot of things I need to learn, and same with anything. To be fair.
Yeah, I get you. I think the fact that we both are in this mindset and the fact that we even ask ourselves these questions and have a sense of anxiety around it, and the people listening who feel like kind of relate to the things we're talking about. I think the fact that we are even in this mindset, it shows us that we're on the right path, because um, it shows us that like we want more. Like we aren't just taking every day as it comes. You know what I mean? We actually are thinking about the future to a certain degree. I know, so that's why I think that it is very beneficial. Like, yes, it can hold you back, but I think it is beneficial to think like this. If you kind of catch what I'm saying.
No, yeah, no, 100% as well. See where we're talking with these are our thoughts right now. Thoughts are only just thoughts. So like if you're like thinking, I don't know, negative, like fuck this, and this day's gone shit for me, but they're literally just thoughts. And the thoughts you choose to believe is ultimately the way you think, the way you act, kind of thing. As well, opinions. It's a bit off topic, but I was writing a wee script the other day for a video, and it was like talking about opinions, people's opinions on you aren't true, right? In my opinion, right? Opinions on you aren't true. Um, and the opinions you choose to believe are true, in the sense that, like, say I choose to believe that I am a nice person, and ultimately we're talking. I was reading this the audiobook The Secret, and it was basically saying that the thoughts I choose to believe is ultimately the outcome, in the sense that, like, if I choose to believe that I'm a negative person, and I just keep choosing to believe it, then soon I start to, like, spiral down that route, and snowball into actually like being that person. But when I choose to believe that I'm a positive person, and I start acting positive, blah blah, then it just spirals down that way. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think this links to one of the next topics that we were going to talk about, obviously. Um, so that kind of whole thing that you just mentioned there is ultimately it is manifesting. What kind of is your opinion on manifesting? You had said you were listening to The Secret audiobook. What's kind of your opinion on it? Do you find it to be true?
Um, well, first of all, I never originally thought it to be true, in the sense of like this is a load of balls, and then looking back in my past and like certain scenarios, I'm like, oh, I actually did manifest that. I didn't even realize I was doing it, kind of thing. Um, my overall thoughts on it is that put it this way, you not believing in it is or you believing it is not going to negatively impact your life. It'll be more positively impact your life if you believe in manifesting. I
Hmm.
don't see any negatives from believing in manifesting, so that would be my thoughts on manifesting. Like, there's no negatives there's more positives. There's only positives believing in manifestation, in my opinion.
For anyone listening, Jack, just to give a bit of context, what actually is the law of attraction?
Define that law of attraction. It's basically like asking the universe, and attracting the universe to give stuff back, in the sense that, say I say I want to have £1 million in my bank. It's trying to attract that to you. And how do you attract that is by actually believing in your head, mentally, physically, everything that you can see, physically, everything that you actually have it, if you get me. And
Yeah.
then soon it actually happens. What's your opinions on that, in the sense that what actually is manifesting to you? Is that the same thing as what I said, or is it different?
Yeah, it's basically what you said. You know what I mean? It's like, in order, like, say you want to receive £1 million, just for example, um, in order to receive something, you need to like fully believe it, but not just fully believe. What I mean by when I say fully believe it, I mean that you are a person who receives £1 million. Know what I mean? In order to attract something, you need to become it and become the type of person who comes into contact with whatever it is that you desire.
You need to act like you're the guy. You need to act like you already have the £1 million. You need to act like you already have a six pack. You need to act like you already own 10 houses. And then it actually happens. But like you need to act like already right now. You know, it's like I don't know if you're watching it or you have my new content coming out. I talk about future me. What would future me think? So I'm basically talking about like what would future me do. So would he lie in bed all day and not get any work done, or would he get up and think anything? So what would future you do if you're acting like you in the future? Ultimately, you're gonna become that person you're actually thinking you're gonna act like. Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah, know what I would use as an example actually. Know what I mean? Someone who drives a car, a driver, right? In order to become a driver, you put yourself in situations that drivers put themselves in. Do you know what I mean? Like going out and doing lessons and driving is what drivers do. So to become a driver, a person who drives a car, you go and drive. Do you know what I mean? Is that does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. It's like you don't become a footballer, but the only way to become a good footballer or a footballer is by surrounding yourself with people who do football, or like put or go to practice and kick the ball about, that kind of thing. Same with if you want to be a millionaire, maybe go to a fence with a million millionaires are at, and like learn what they're learning and like apply. What I mean? Yeah, no, I'm trying to get what you're saying with that point.
So like how would you go about? Have you ever successfully used say law of attraction or manifestation?
Without knowing, yes. With knowing,
What do you mean without
like, right.
knowing?
So essentially, I've two scenarios, but I'll tell you the gym one. I think I told you this, but essentially, I was saving up in my work. I worked in a warehouse called One Delivery, and I was saving up for a gym at my back, and I work every single day to get that money, and I think, but I became that obsessed with it that I would write down in my notes every day how much money I needed, how much things cost, blah blah. And I would always look at that when I came home. Right, this is what I'm needing this help for. Right, I'm only 3 weeks away, and I calculate exactly how much weeks I was away, how much money I already had, how much money I was spending, exactly like to a T, how much money I was saving, how much money I was wasting, blah blah. So I knew exactly what was going in, what was coming out, and I knew exactly what equipment I needed. I knew exactly the price of all the equipment together, and I became obsessed that much that every day I would go into work, I was actually enjoying work because I knew the outcome of the work. But when I didn't have an outcome of the work, as shit, I felt drained. I felt depressed, to be honest, working there. But when I had an outcome, I knew what was already going to happen with the money. I was going into work like, oh, what's happening here? Not long to get my gym, couple of days, boom, you know what? Boom, I'm going to have this gym, I'm going to have that, and telling everyone, blah, blah, blah. And I get to the point where I was actually enjoying work because I knew I had a purpose of the work to get the gym. And then I also got the stage where I started dreaming about the gym, which is crazy. Like I'm a guy that doesn't dream often, and I just don't dream, like, to be honest. But maybe that's a belief I have, but I haven't dreamed anyway. Um, and I was getting obsessed that much with it. I had dreams of my own gym out the back garden in the thing. I had a dream that it already happened. Without me knowing, I was manifesting without me knowing, and I would go to work buzzing up, buzzing to be there, blah blah. And then I finally got enough money to get it, and then it was actually happening, and it already happened. I was like, I already knew it was going to happen. So like, I don't know. And then looking back at it, when I read the book, and when a few years later, when I actually found out what manifesting was, I was like, oh, I was literally attracting that to happen. Like I was actually making that happen. Like I was acting like the person who already had the gym, if you get me. I had already calculated how much money, done the rest of it. Already felt like I had the gym because I was going to work. I had a purpose. I was going to work to get the money for the gym, but I already felt like I had the gym. But it's just, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I didn't know I was manifesting, but it was
Are
happening.
you are you kind of relating it to the part in the book and the other book where it talks about like when it starts to happen, it feels effortless when you're talking about how easy work got.
Yeah, like I already felt like it was happening. So I just felt work when I was going to Bond every working. I already knew I was only this much days out or this much weeks left till I was getting my desired outcome. It also felt like I was doing the work for a purpose. So I already knew I was getting the gym. I already knew I had the gym. So it just felt like, oh, I'm just here. I'm here to get to the gym. So I felt like I already had it.
Yeah,
I just felt like I already had it. If you know what I mean? I don't know how to put it into words. I just felt like I already had it. When I was going to work, I was like, oh, it's just another day before I get my gym. No way kind of thing. So it was
yeah.
weird. It was really weird looking back at it. But
So
again, I did manifest it.
people are going to be skeptical and say, and may potentially say, I'm going to look at it from the flip side here, about that was just motivation because of a goal that you had.
You could say that, but I feel like if that was the case, I would be going into work, more like
There'll be, yeah, motivation that kind of doesn't last. There'll be days that would be shit.
there would have been days where it was shit, and there would have been days where I wasn't so motivated and all the rest of it, and I would have felt, and instead of effortless, it would have felt like a chore. But I actually generally, because I generally believed I already had it, work was easy. It was like, oh, just another day, It was like I didn't feel a sense of like, oh, I have to be here. I'm saying I already am going. I want to be here, kind of thing. I felt present I felt present and wanting to be there because I knew what was happening from it. I know it sounds a bit like, oh, I was that just motivation. You were just decided because you had a goal, but from my point of view, I disagree because Um, I've never worked to a point where I actually enjoyed working and I felt effortless. I already felt like I had something. I don't think I've ever felt like I actually felt like I already had something and like work was effortless ever before my life. So, in my opinion, some people may take it the wrong way. Maybe some people may think that's just motivation. But for me personally, I've been motivated to do quite a lot of things in my life. But that was just a time where I felt like, oh, that I was definitely manifesting like it happened.
Yeah. See, for people kind of wanting to learn more about it and kind of say learn to practice around it, would you say that they should read The Secret? Kind of where it all stemmed from?
100% because you'll get the gist and on what way the secret actually works and what way manifesting works. You'll get a clear understanding of what you're attracting to you and what you're not. Whether you choose to believe in the secret or the manifesting is up to you, but you'll definitely get a good insight on your life. To be honest, have you got any scenarios where you've manifested something, or like you feel like you might have, or like yeah, have you got any scenarios where you feel like you manifested anything?
Uh, yeah, 100%. I definitely used to. So basically, I kind of got introduced to the concept pretty early because my mummy, she read the book years ago, kind of got on into it, and I kind of read it when I was way younger, maybe say second year, third year, around that time. So what would have been maybe 13 or 14, and I read the book anyway. And I think it's like a skill, like anything else. You know, what I mean, you need to practice it in order to get good at it. But um, yeah, I used it when I was younger. I like kind of did it to get my GCSEs and kind of get to university. Then kind of like haven't really paid it much attention the last 2 years. I think my mindset for like the last 2 years kind of not held me back, so to speak, but kind of wasn't to the extent that I could have been using it. But yeah, recently it's sitting right here. I read, you can probably read that, but I read The Secret again. Then I watched the movie again. Then I've been watching a lot of content surrounding it and techniques and things along the lines. Like I've just been practicing as simple as like basically like we were parking in a car park the other day. And I was like, right, once we go right up this ramp and around this corner, there's going to be a parking space on the right hand side. It was a packed out car park and there's people driving up and someone had just left and then we pulled in, do you know what I mean? So like it's kinda like building it up and building it up so we can get stronger and stronger. Like do you remember McGregor saying about that? Like kinda the car parking space at the front of the shopping centre and he built it up and built it up and practiced and practiced.
Yeah, I also remember him saying he said when he knocked Josie Aldo, he's seen it so clearly, like it already happened. Like he's really good at that. I feel like and I feel like you've hit the nail on the coffin there with the it being a skill. Like it's something I need to learn. I need to learn more on. I need to implement more, if you know what I mean. But you've hit the nail on the coffin. Like it's like anything, the more times you do it, the better you're going to get it. But it definitely is a skill. Like it's a skill we're all trying to learn to some degree.
Yeah, a thing I would say to justify it is what they say in the book, which kind of like hit, like struck me in order of believing it. Right, so it's going back to Thomas Edison. I know I've talked about him. And I think Thomas Edison, the fellow who invented the light bulb, talking about like before him there was literally not such thing as light bulb. Like people used to use like say candles and shit, but he had this idea in his head of a light bulb, and he took this idea that was in his head and brought it into the physical. You know what I mean? Like he's seen something that no one else had ever seen before in his head, and thought about this, then created the light bulb. That's kind of what happens. Like everything that happens in your life and everything in your 3D and your physical presence is always ultimately start as a thought. Like, oh, think of it as an example, like, oh, I want to paint my room grey. You first think about painting your room grey, then you go and paint your room grey, then there it is. Do you know what I mean? It appears in the physical. If you get what I'm saying.
No, 100%. No, I remember hearing that bit off the book actually. It's a great bit there because if he didn't believe to the point where he actually invented it, then it wouldn't have happened. But he genuinely believed there was an ability and there was a path there for him to make a light bulb. So, no, 100%. I want to bring up another story actually about manifesting as well. And I made a video on it on the thing, but I haven't uploaded yet. But it talked about my season last year in football, and I'd actually texted the manager. I have proof of the text message saying that I was going to score 25 goals that season, and I said it before the season even started. I texted the manager, I'm going to score 25 goals easy, and I was telling everyone, mates, telling you, boom, boom. And I have a few videos of me saying I was going to score a hat trick, scored a hat trick that day, that time. Said I was going to score the next game, scored that game. But anyway, I kept manifesting it to happen, but I knew 25 goals on the last season, and I knew 25 goals on the dot. Had I ever done 25 goals before? Could just say I was motivated, but have I ever done 25 goals before? No, that's the first time I've ever done before in my life. But you could say, oh, you must have just, put in the work. I did fucking put in the work. Act like the person who scored 25 goals, and that's what happened. So, so it talks about that. I manifested, but I also acted like the person who would score 25 goals. So you can't just, I'm going to become a millionaire and act like the guy's going to become a millionaire. You know what I mean? It's like, that's saying there, if you get me.
Yeah, how much goals did you end up scoring?
I scored 25 in the last game of the season.
25 on the dot.
On the dot. No after, no before.
Yeah,
Like,
it acts as an example, definitely, because it's a very precise number, isn't it?
And you know what's pretty mad as well? I originally wrote 20 goals, right? And then when I went to join, I wrote down my goals there was 20 goals, and then I had texted my manager 20 goals, and I goes, so if you get 20 goals, that's unreal. I goes, I want to set myself a specific target, so I haven't had a screenshot. You'll see it on one of the videos I upload it. Goes, actually, you know what? I'm gonna get 25 goals easy, something like that. But 25 is a precise number. The fact that I finished on just 25, maybe they just say, "Oh, it's just luck blowing." But personally, I just think that's crazy. I don't like. I didn't realize it was manifesting, but I was, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, 100%. I definitely think it's something that we should kind of get definitely more points on and explore, say over a full episode if people are interested. I think it's a very great tool to have when you're trying to be successful. I know a lot of people may be very skeptical of it, but what is the harm in trying to kind of I want to revisit, Jack, a point that we talked about earlier about saying about people on social media, how we compare ourselves to people on social media, and how like social media acts like a highlight reel, and it's only actually the good aspects of people's lives. I want to talk about. I sent you a video yesterday, Jack, talking about the change in say creators and influencers, how the change. There's going to be a massive change in the way people present their content, in the sense like all the people who are blown up, say like all the people who are blown up nowadays are blown up because they're very relatable to the ordinary person like us.
yeah, my mentors were talking about it actually recently. They were saying basically instead of saying here's 3 ways in which you can lose weight, instead they're trying to be more relatable and they're talking about instead of doing that there, act do a video on you actually losing the weight, and then and then bringing in the information. So essentially, like it says 3 ways. Here's 3 ways to lose weight. Literally show you actually losing the weight with them 3 ways, and then say the 3 ways if you get me. So it's just basically showing more of your you show more of yourself because everyone wants to know everything about you from the time you go to bed to the time you wake up to your name of your cat to the name of your dog. Everyone wants to know everything about you, and the way to blow up at the minute is showing as much of yourself as possible. People invest in people, don't invest in products.
Yeah, I think based on like kind of the social media platforms that we have as well now with the likes of TikTok, it allows us to be a lot more what's the word, relatable, because um people are posting say like 1, 2, 3, 4 whatever minute videos every single day, so it's like giving like a complete update on someone's life every day, whereas traditionally celebrities were pe- ped- pedestalized because of say a certain talent or a certain thing, and we kind of had a sense of like that we were different from them, that they led this amazing life, but ultimately they're just normal people like us who have a few people to follow.
100%. And that's probably something I came to realize when I went to that the Fant and when I was through them, they're literally just normal people. They're literally just like me and you. They just found a gap in the industry and applied the knowledge that they got from other people, and that's literally it.
Yeah, but why do you think this relatable content is kind of achieving so much success?
Um, because I feel like everyone, it's in our nature to want to relate to someone. If we can't relate to someone, why are we going to watch them? If we can relate to someone, it's in our nature to want to relate to someone. If we want to relate to, I don't know, whatever it is, we feel like we already know the person. If we can relate, if we feel like we understand where they're coming from more, we feel like we can trust them more. Um, we can feel like we can buy into them more. And as I was saying to you earlier, people buy people. So you know, yeah,
Yeah, definitely. People buy off emotion, and like, and people create those emotions. It's just kind of like, oh, the people you spend the most time with, say your friends. The reason you're friends with them is because you relate to them on a certain level.
yeah. Actually, I don't think I've heard that viewpoint, but yeah, I'm 100% agree with that. 1,000,000%
Yeah,
agree with
so it's kind of ultimately people feeling like their favorite creators and their favorite influences are their friends, because like they relate them on such an in-depth level. Not nowadays, because the way people present content across, it's like what it's down the whole attention. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I think for the first time in history, I was reading that humans actually have a shorter attention span than that of goldfish. A goldfish has a second attention span of 9 seconds, and humans have an attention span of 8 seconds. 8 seconds nowadays. It's kind of, as Gary Vee says, like, it's because from the word Gary Vee said is the TikTokification of our society.
yeah, that's actually crazy. For I've heard that before. For but I think that's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great word for it, isn't it? TikTokification.
Yeah,
Sick way to put it, isn't it?
proper sick way. Like I think Danny, we're coming down that stage, mate.
Yeah, man.
We're coming down this stage. We'll do the quarter of the day at the end. But what is your biggest win and biggest struggle of the week? Starting off with the struggle.
Starting off with a struggle.
Yeah.
I think the biggest struggle from my week this week would definitely be the consistency with certain aspects, and it's kind of just down to, I don't want to make excuses, but it's down to the fact that I had a massive assignment due this week, so my time management was completely up the left. But my biggest win of the week was at the start of the week. Me and Cameron on our dropshipping store, our new dropshipping store, got our first sale. Then a more recent one was definitely breaking out of the 200 Club on the podcast TikTok.
They did say bigger wins were coming, didn't we? Like,
Consistency,
yeah,
brother.
yeah. Tell you what, that is two fucking lethal wins. Like,
Yeah, definitely, man.
that is a fucking great week in there. Fucking I say it's a great week, but no one sees the weeks on the build up to it. Know what I mean? I talk about
Yeah.
this a lot, but only find it now. But yeah, man, that's fucking class. It's class news.
Jack Gray, what is your biggest challenge and your biggest win of the week?
So, my biggest challenge of the week would be knowing what work is actual work to be done, in the sense that, like, is this work beneficial work, or is it work that's, only doing it because you feel like it's working, but like it's not working? Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, 100% get what you mean. You're
Yeah.
kind of procrastinating in a sense.
Like you're doing work, but whether it's work that actually needs to be done, like it is procrastination, but it could be not procrastination because you're not sure whether it's the work that actually needs done. Does that make sense?
I I get definitely I get what you mean. Like the work actually isn't
Yeah,
the
it's like
it's not beneficial to
yes,
be doing it.
it's like you doing an essay for an English class. You don't know whether it's the right, maybe, way to write it. Maybe is that the way to say? I don't know. But anyway, my biggest win of the week would be not missing a training session and get my steps in and get my water. And that's something I really wanted to do, was get this big boy down. I'm near done the day, but I've what I call, I've near drunk a big one of these every
We'll
single day.
finish we'll finish quickly, lads, so you can get to the toilet, take a piss, mate.
I know, mate. I know. I am.
Crystal clear, lad.
I've only had like 1,000 calories every single day this week, so fucking
A
hell, man.
thousand calories you'll only have this week every day.
1,050. So it's been 3 meals a day, and
How how come it's so low?
I want to save myself for Sunday, but I went all out on Sunday. I went all out, but on Saturday I had shit, and on Friday night I
Wait,
had
how much calories do you save over for Sunday, lad?
normally like 3,500 roughly, but
Would you save that throughout the week so you can eat it on Sunday?
normally, but that's what
So
I'm good.
so overall, say on a Sunday, what are you eating, like 5,000 calories?
Probably, yeah.
Mate, you're a junkie, lad. You're actually a food junkie, mate.
Man, I'm telling you, I'd rather not eat chocolate during the week at all and save for the
But
week.
how do you hit the likes your protein goals and all throughout the week with such low calories?
So the secret, right? They've cod, right, which is 108 calories or 112.
Train.
You get 20 grams of protein for 100 calories, which is fucking unbelievable, right? Protein powder with oats in the morning. There's another 20 grams for 90 calories. What do you call it? Salmon's 187 calories, which is a bit more thing, but it's all fucking unbelievable. And then plus the wee bits that add up, like, not the actual protein sources itself, but they actually have wee bits in it, that kind of way.
Wait, so what's your protein goal daily? Like 150 grams or so?
So what's meant to be is roughly around 1.6 and 2.2 in between that per kg of body weight. So I would say I would have about 140, maybe less, which is obviously you want to be aiming for. Let's say I'm 80, it's 160. I want to be aiming for at least 162 grams. I like to have personally per kg of body weight, but let's just
So
say
what does that work out total a day?
all day.
Yeah, how much grams of protein do you have a day?
I have roughly about 140, 130, right?
And
But
what's your goal?
my goal is 160 roughly, maybe 150. So I'm 20 grams off roughly.
Yeah, fair. But Jack, another one of your favorite parts of the week and the podcast, you know exactly what it is. Have you got it ready?
Nope, but I've got a saying of the day, a quote of the day, but it's a saying of the day. And it's something that I talk about a lot. It's been the sense of comparing yourself to other people and like doing things based on your own opinions. But instead of a quote, I'm just gonna say a saying, like, just gonna say a saying. So essentially, I talk about the opinions of other people and like how you do things just on the basis of our opinions, people's opinions. Stop giving a fuck. Stop it. Just stop giving a fuck. No one cares. Just do the thing. If you want to start a podcast, fucking do it. If you want to go to the gym, do it. If you want to fucking run a marathon, fucking do it. Stop waiting for judgment of other people. Who cares, mate? Just do it. Do the fucking thing. And that is my saying of the day. Not even a quote today. And that's because I'm unprepared, but that's something that we always talk about. I probably already said it 1,000 times, but we're just saying a saying a day off the top of the head. There will be a quote next week, I promise.
Fair enough. my quote of the day definitely will not contain 90% profanity. This one is just when I start stopping, but it's kind of just based on like the. It's kind of literally a quote that someone has said this. Well, that's what a quote is. Obviously, it said that, Danny. I don't know why I said that there, lad. But it's obviously taken out as like a conversation, someone speaking to someone. Basically, it's about feeling lost in your 20s. It goes like this: I think your 20s are the hardest part of life. I mean, everyone goes on about it, how hard it is to be a teenager, but actually, I think it's tougher to be in your 20s because you're expected to be a grown up and expected to earn your own living and be successful. And I think you feel like a kid still, and that's basically what we were the point that I was trying to find the whole time that we were talking about feeling lost in your 20s. You're expected to be a grown up, but you still feel like a kid.
100%. You're expected to have it all figured out, but you know, 100%. See, before we actually call it quits, I'm intrigued to see your response to this. Do you feel like you're trying to make it now in your 20s so that you can relax earlier in your 30s, or do you feel like you're is that the reason? Do you think that's the reason why you want to succeed now? Is it because you want to relax when you're older, or like what is it? Like what is the meaning behind the it?
I think it's kind of just a search, say, for achieving a sense of like a level of fulfillment and to experience things that I wouldn't get the experience otherwise if I didn't kind of put in a bit of work that aren't my daily experiences. Do you know what I mean? Like,
100%. See me looking at that. Like if I've had to ask myself that question, I'd be looking at it in the sense that like I'd rather put in the work now. So then when I'm older and I'm let's say 50 or so, I don't actually have to worry about the money coming in. I can actually look at my kids and watch them grow up and become the people they want to become, and I can actually support them without me having to work for someone else and still be working and actually get to embrace and enjoy being older. If you get me, like I don't know if that makes sense, but like obviously fulfillment and all the rest of it, 100 million%. But when I get older, I want to be able to actually be like, right, I get to do what I want on my own terms and make sure my kids grow up
yeah,
and there for them, and not just be 50 and have to work for someone else and not be able to see my kids often. Then they grow up and then they're already away, and you're like, oh mate,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
definitely. I think that was kind of the point I was heading towards about um definitely as something we talk about so much about the freedom. And obviously right now I don't have a family, but when I do have a family, get to watch them kind of grow up and like just live an absolute sick life with them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so like both scenarios, like that way, and also savage, not really savagely, but like we both know we want more. Like we have the ability that it's just getting to where we want to be takes time, and as we talk about, like, all great things do take time. So we're starting on the right path, as you said.
Yeah, 100%. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate the support. Whether you're sitting listening in the gym, or you're sitting in bed, or you're sitting in work, you're an absolute sicko for listening to the podcast. Definitely listen to this far. Do you know what I mean? We absolutely love doing this. Just we get fulfillment out of doing this. But thank you so much for listening. Jack, do you have anything else more to say before we wrap it up?
Thank you for watching, guys. Few big wins are on this podcast. Danny and me. Few good wins there. So yeah, whatever you get up to, I hope you have a good time. And yeah, thanks for watching.
And here, if you want to hear anything in the podcast, or you hear any people that you feel we could get in the podcast, comment below or go on our Instagram, Today's the Day podcast, and text us, and we will do our best to accommodate the hopes and desires that you have for our podcast, because we love hearing feedback of you.
Also, any topics you want us to uncover or anything like that there, let us know, and we'll get back to you. And Danny, I think that's us. I think that's ready to mark. It's been Today's the Day podcast. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Over and out.